3 years ago, a mechanic in Albuquerque, 31 years in the trade, ASE certified, the kind of guy who could diagnose an engine knock by ear, spent 4 hours staring at a 2021 pickup truck that wouldn't start. He had the right tools. He had the experience. He had replaced the same faulty crankshaft position sensor 100 times on older models. But this time, the truck's ECU demanded a cryptographic handshake from a dealer-only server before it would accept the new part. The sensor cost $38. The dealership's authorization fee? $340. He couldn't touch it. The truck sat on his lift for 4 hours and he sent the customer away. That story isn't unusual anymore. It's Tuesday in 2024. After combing through repair data across hundreds of independent shops and cross-referencing manufacturers' service bulletins most owners never see, a pattern has emerged that the automotive industry doesn't advertise, and frankly, doesn't want you thinking about. The car sitting in your driveway right now, the one you made payments on, the one you insured and registered and own outright, you may not have the legal or technical ability to fix it yourself. And the gap between what you can do and what the manufacturer allows is growing every single model year. Here are 10 things happening inside modern vehicles that the software lockout is quietly controlling, and what you can actually do about it. Most people know about the OBD2 port, that little diagnostic socket under your dashboard that every car sold after 1996 is required to have. You can buy a Bluetooth adapter for $22, plug it in, and pull engine codes in 30 seconds. Feels empowering, feels like access. Here's what manufacturers don't put in the product description of those cheap scanners. The OBD2 standard only mandates access to emissions-related data. That's it. Everything else, transmission adaptive learning, advanced ADAS calibration data, battery management system health on hybrids, suspension control module logs, body control module faults, all of that lives in proprietary communication protocols that manufacturers are under zero legal obligation. He services the older stuff. The new cars go to the dealer. This is the invisible wall. It doesn't show up on a repair bill line item. It doesn't get disclosed when you buy the vehicle. But it is the single biggest structural reason why independent repair has become progressively harder to access for vehicles manufactured after 2018. Warning: if a shop tells you they can fully diagnose your 2023 or newer vehicle with a standard aftermarket scanner, ask them specifically which modules they can access. A confident answer should include powertrain, body control, ADAS, and transmission. If they hesitate, you may be getting an incomplete picture of your car's actual condition. This one catches people completely off guard because it sounds absurd. Brake pads are a wear item. They've been a DIY staple for 50 years. A Saturday afternoon, a floor jack, a C-clamp, and you're done. Except on a growing number of vehicles, that's no longer the whole story. Electronic parking brake systems, standard on virtually every new European and many Asian market vehicles sold after 2020, require a software retracting procedure before the caliper pistons can be compressed. You cannot physically push the piston back with a C-clamp. The motor will resist, and you will damage the caliper trying. The retraction has to be commanded through a scan tool with bidirectional capability. That's the mechanical barrier. The software barrier is separate and worse. On Volkswagen Group vehicles from 2019 onward, and on several Ford and GM platforms from 2021, completing the brake pad replacement requires a brake pad replacement acknowledgement sequence run through the vehicle's service menu. If that sequence isn't completed, the car's brake wear monitoring system doesn't reset. More critically, on vehicles with adaptive brake pressure distribution, which learns your driving style over thousands of miles, an unacknowledged pad replacement can cause the system to apply incorrect pressure curves until it relearns, affecting stopping distance during the relearning period. A teacher from Savannah replaced the rear pads on her 2021 T-Gun herself, correctly and carefully, using quality OEM equivalent parts. She didn't know about the software acknowledgement step. For the next 3 weeks, her brake warning light stayed on, and she made 2 trips to the dealer, one to diagnose the issue, one to run the reset procedure. Total additional cost, $280. The pad replacement itself cost $60 in parts. A mid-range Autel scanner with bidirectional service functions handles this reset for most platforms. One-time tool cost. Never pay that reset fee again. Tesla normalized it. Now everyone does it. Over-the-air software updates to vehicle systems sound like a consumer benefit. Bug fixes, feature improvements, no dealership visit required. And sometimes that's exactly what they are. But the update pipeline also flows in directions that don't benefit you. In 2022, multiple Tesla owners documented cases where battery range estimates were reduced through an OTA update following a class action settlement. Essentially a software change that altered the functional performance of a vehicle customers had purchased based on a specific advertised range. No recall, no dealer visit. The car just woke up one morning with less range. GM's Super Cruise system has had driving behavior modified through OTA updates that change lane change assist aggressiveness. Toyota's Safety Sense package has received updates that adjusted automatic emergency braking sensitivity thresholds. These are legitimate safety improvements in most cases, but they are changes to how your vehicle operates, delivered silently, logged in a change history that most owners don't know how to access, and with terms buried in the connected services agreement you accepted when you set up your infotainment account. There is currently no federal regulation requiring manufacturers to disclose the content of OTA updates to vehicle owners in plain language before deployment. The agreement you signed allows them to push changes. Reading the full terms of service for a connected vehicle, Ford, GM, Stellantis, Toyota, you will find language granting the manufacturer rights to update, modify, and in some cases, remotely disable certain vehicle functions. An engineer from Portland who works in cybersecurity spent an evening parsing the connected services agreement for his 2023 vehicle and found a clause allowing the manufacturer to remotely limit certain performance parameters if vehicle data suggested operation outside of warranty-intended conditions. He's not saying it's been used, he's saying the language permits it. Know what you agreed to. Pull your vehicle's connected services terms and search for remote, update, modify, and disable. What you find may change how you use your vehicle's connected features. This point matters because it affects every single owner who doesn't have a dealer within 30 miles, or who simply can't afford dealer labor rates, or who has a trusted local shop that has kept their family's cars running for a generation. Independent repair shops currently account for roughly 70% of all vehicle service work in the United States by volume. That number has been declining since 2018 at an accelerating rate for vehicles under 5 years old. The reason isn't that independent shops have gotten worse. The reason is that the software barrier to entry for modern vehicle service has been raised faster than small businesses can clear it. The Auto Care Association estimated in 2023 that independent shops would need to invest an average of $50,000 to $75,000 in new diagnostic hardware and software licensing just to maintain competency on 2020 and newer vehicles across common domestic and import brands. For a shop with 3 lifts and 4 employees, that capital requirement is existential. What's being lost isn't just competition. It's geographic access to affordable repair. Rural communities, lower-income urban areas, regions where a dealership is an hour away, these populations are disproportionately affected when independent repair capacity erodes. A nurse in rural Mississippi driving a 2022 Chevy Equinox already has 1 dealer within reasonable driving distance. If her local independent shop loses the ability to service that vehicle, she has one option: one price, no negotiation. The structural elimination of the independent mechanic isn't a market outcome. It's the downstream effect of a deliberate software access architecture. And it should make every vehicle owner uncomfortable regardless of whether they ever pick up a wrench themselves. Not every restriction is about revenue. Some are genuinely about safety. Calibrating a forward collision radar incorrectly is dangerous in a way that over-tightening a lug nut is not. But understanding exactly which systems are locked and why gives you clarity on where you have options and where you genuinely don't. The 5 most consistently locked systems across manufacturers right now: ADAS calibration, the radar, camera, and sensor alignment systems that control automatic emergency braking and lane keeping; immobilizer and key programming. Adding a key to a vehicle or replacing a lost one requires manufacturer server authorization on almost every platform made after 2017. Transmission control module flashing. Even basic recalibrations require OEM tools on most automatic transmissions post-2019. Airbag module reset after deployment. A replaced airbag module must be VIN paired through manufacturer servers before it will arm. And hybrid and EV battery management system access. Virtually all meaningful BMS data and calibration is locked to OEM tools, with independent EV repair representing the sharpest access cliff in the entire industry. For the immobilizer system specifically, a locksmith in Charlotte told a story that captures the problem exactly. Customer lost both keys to a 2022 Kia Telluride. Locksmith had the cutting equipment. Locksmith had the programming hardware. But the key programming authorization for that vehicle requires a real-time connection to Kia's secure server. A connection that Kia has not made available to locksmiths or independent shops. Dealer only. Dealer quote for 2 new keys, $100. Tow to dealer included, because the car wouldn't start without any authorized key present. Knowing which category your repair falls into before you start saves you time, money, and the particular frustration of getting 80% through a job and hitting a wall. Massachusetts passed the most aggressive automotive right to repair law in the country in 2020. Voters approved it by a 75% margin, a landslide by any political measure. It required manufacturers to provide access to telematics data through a standardized open access platform by 2022. The law has not been meaningfully implemented. Multiple manufacturers sued. A federal judge issued a preliminary injunction blocking enforcement while litigation continued. As of the time this script was written, the core telematics provision, the one that would have actually changed the diagnostic access landscape, remains in legal limbo more than 4 years after voters passed it. At the federal level, the Repair Act has been introduced in Congress multiple times. It has not passed. The automotive manufacturers' lobbying presence in Washington is substantial, and the legislation faces significant opposition from an industry that has an enormous financial interest in maintaining the current access architecture. The EU has taken a different approach, with the Right to Repair directive passed in 2024, covering a range of products. But automotive carve-outs and implementation timelines mean practical changes to vehicle diagnostic access are still years away for European consumers. This isn't a political commentary. It's a practical reality check. Don't wait for legislation to protect your access to your own vehicle. The legal process is slow, uncertain, and up against well-funded opposition. What you can control is your own preparedness, which brings us to what actually works right now. There's a tier of diagnostic tools that exists between the $25 Bluetooth dongle and the $15,000 dealer workstation. And for most owners and independent shops, this middle tier is where the real access lives. The critical specifications to look for: bi-directional control capability, OEM-level module coverage for your specific vehicle brand, active online update subscriptions, and ECU coding capability. Not every tool hits all four, and the market is full of hardware that claims OEM-level access but delivers generic OBD data with a better user interface. For Japanese brands, Honda, Toyota, Mazda, Subaru, the Autel MaxiSys platform consistently delivers the deepest independent access. For German brands, BMW, Mercedes, VW Group, Ista, Zentry, and Otis are the OEM tools. But the Autel Elite 2 and Launch X431 Pro get meaningfully close on most 2015-2022 models. For American brands, GM's subscription-based GDS2 is actually available to non-dealers for around $40 per day, a legitimate option for a specific repair without the full annual commitment. A retired auto teacher from Denver spent 3 months testing 7 scan tools across his personal fleet: a 2019 Accord, a 2021 F-150, and a 2020 Golf GTI. His conclusion: no single tool covers everything, but a $450 Autel scanner with annual subscription covered approximately 85% of what he needed across all 3 vehicles, compared to roughly 20% from his previous generic tool. Know your vehicle brand. Research tool coverage specifically for that brand and model year. The investment in the right tool pays for itself on the first repair it enables. Everything covered here: the locked ECUs, the proprietary scan data, the OTA updates, the independent shop erosion. It all converges on a single vulnerability. The moment you walk into a service situation without information, you have no leverage. The most powerful thing you can do right now, today, before anything breaks, is to build a baseline diagnostic record of your vehicle using the best tool you can access. Here's the exact process. Find either a professional tier scanner owner, an independent shop, an auto teacher, a car enthusiast group in your area, or invest in a mid-range tool yourself. Run a full system scan across all available modules. Save the complete report as a PDF or screenshot archive. Note every fault code, even the ones marked as inactive or historical. Document your current mileage, battery voltage, and any live data values that fall outside normal range. That baseline does 3 things for you. First, it establishes a pre-existing condition record. If a manufacturer's OTA update changes something in your vehicle, you have documentation of what it looked like before. Second, it gives you informed questions for any dealer visit. You walk in knowing what your car's systems are doing, not just what the service advisor tells you they're doing. Third, it identifies small issues before they compound into expensive failures. The sensor logging intermittent faults today becomes the sensor that leaves you stranded in 6 months. An engineer from Columbus ran this process on his 2022 Kia Sorento after reading about software lockout issues in an owner form. His baseline scan flagged an inactive fault in the CVVT system, variable valve timing, that he never would have known about from the dashboard. He brought it to the dealer with the fault code already in hand, referenced the known service bulletin, and had the repair covered under warranty before it caused secondary damage. Estimated repair cost had it failed completely, north of $2,000. Cost, because he caught it proactively, $0. Your car is not just a machine anymore. It's a managed software platform that happens to have wheels. The manufacturers designed it that way because software is controllable, licensable, and profitable in ways that mechanical components are not. That's the honest reality of modern vehicle ownership. But information is still the most powerful tool available to you. And unlike OEM diagnostic software, nobody can lock you out of it. The difference between a driver who pays whatever they're told and a driver who controls their repair costs isn't wealth or mechanical skill. It's knowing what your car is actually doing before anyone else tells you what it needs.